Early morning, we've got a little bit of rain here. It's supposed to clear up, but that'll keep the dust down. I have a huge day scheduled, so I want to start early here. Two big jobs I want to get done today, or at least get a good handle on, are finishing off the perimeter of this green and getting that drainage going. I've been doing this by eye, and I'm not a professional. I've never worked at a golf course, never run heavy equipment, so I'm going to get a transit out, a laser level, just check this for slope. I want to make sure I get my water going in a couple different ways. The other green looks really good, but I'm going to check that as well. And then these mounds. This is kind of a unique green. I'm a little bit too tight. The house is right behind the camera. Got this huge hill here. We've got that valley over there. So the green's kind of restricted to this area. And I'm not going to really be able to get at this back area here when the green's done. So I'm coming in, I'm trying to add a little bit of shape, a little bit of contour. Hard to tell on camera, but we've got some height here on this mound. I've got a mound right in front of the camera. I'd like to do a third one maybe back here, just a little bit off the green, just to give it some shape, pop some things out of the ground. This is a fairly flat property when we started here, and I just love when there's some nice mowed mounds behind the green. So that is the big schedule for today. We'll see how far we can get. I think that's enough on the perimeter. I can still sneak in over here. I'm not going to get blocked in this area. We really just need topsoil on this now. It's got enough shape that I like. So I think it's time to just get to this drainage. I'm going to use 4-inch agricultural drainage. I'm going to paint some lines here, pretend I know what I'm doing. This is at least a fairly sandy base. It holds some water, but after a very big rain, this is dry in a few hours. So not super worried about it, but definitely want to just do it right. You never have another chance to get under this green. So want to make sure that I have it down right. We have some decent slope in the trench and we can pull that water off these greens. That is my high point. Fairly level across this top side, which is okay. I need water to go that way. Man, this is pretty good. Not sure how I pulled that off. Well, that's really good. I'm gonna sneak water around this mound and then down there. I've got about 7 inches of drop down here. This is difficult. If I'm sitting here with a putter, that looks pretty good. I just don't know though. I'm making this up as I go totally. I have zero experience in any part of this industry. Trying to just use common sense, changing things on the fly, always trying to improve, but I don't know. It's a little intimidating to say, yeah, that's the shape of the green I want to go with when I really have zero experience making that call. That's going to move water this way. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's pretty good. I think it's good. I like the size. I think I like the slope. I wish I knew for sure if that was proper, but it looks pretty good. I'm actually surprised they did that with the skid steer. Not really sure how I pulled that off. It's got enough movement that way to drop water. I think this is good to go. It's terrifying to say that, but I think we're gonna get the spray paint out. This is good. This might actually work. This might actually work. If you were really doing a USGA green, they want heavy drainage on these low corners. You just want to go right around the perimeter. This is a backyard. I'm not going nuts on it, but I will probably end up doing one in here. That looks too good. That actually looks okay. I'm gonna get the trenching bucket on the excavator and start digging. Okay, one difficult thing is going to be getting rid of the dirt from the trenches. Can't really just stack that up in here because I have to get it out of here. it's going to rain here any second, but I think that looks pretty good. Actually, it's running that way. I'm going to do some hand shoveling. The goal was to do as little hand shoveling as possible, but I want to get the transit out, check that I've got fall all the way to the lowest point, and yeah, start getting ready to put some pipe in here. All I'm doing is taking my shovel, scooping out a bottom area, taking any high spots out, filling in the low spots, and I'm just gonna lay my drainage pipe on top of this. If you were doing this professionally with the USGA, you'd put gravel down and then put your pipe on, but this is not bad material. It's going to drain anyway, and I can sculpt it super easy, and I just save on some gravel. So in order to appear to know what I'm doing, I'm going to set my highest point, I think, which is over here. Bottom of the trench, highest point, and then I'll just make sure we have drop everywhere else. I've got about 4 inches of drop at this point. I like that. Oh yeah. Oh, this is pretty good. The shovel was on today. I love it. This is really my only way through the property now that we have a golf green here and a huge hill over here. So short term, there's going to be some heavy equipment on here, some vehicles coming through, so this has to take some weight. I'll probably have to use a heavier pipe, just get something that I add on here that's not going to crush and be able to take some traffic. It's time to pull out the pipe. I have a 100-foot roll and a 250-foot roll, and that should be combined enough to do the 2 greens. We'll find out if I do have enough. This is 4-inch agricultural drainage pipe. It's perforated, so it has a whole bunch of holes cut in it, and that will let the water in, and then once the ground is saturated, the water can go out the pipe. Mostly what we'll be using is these Ys. These are connectors where the main pipe comes in, and then you can Y off with all of our lateral lines. So I have a whole bunch of those to use. It's pretty straightforward stuff. You just roll it out and cut it with a handsaw. I had to take a break. We had a hard rain come in. What it does give us though is a good look at the property when it's under rain. This sandy soil, like I talked about earlier, it has some natural drainage ability in it. Not a lot of water sitting in our trenches. Maybe I didn't have to do drainage, but it's only a day and a half or so of work to do, and then I know that when we do get really wet here, the water can run away. We'll take a quick look at the second green, the larger green that we haven't got to yet, and a little bit of puddling, a little bit of pooling, but nothing too bad. This wasn't as bad of a job as I thought it was going to be. The fittings, these Ys, they fit together so well. Can't say it was that bad. I was kind of not looking forward to it, but I guess it's been pretty good. They fit in so nice. You just push them in, you hear them lock, and you're good. A little bit of a busy intersection here, but I've got some drop. Looks okay. I'm gonna hook into that hard pipe now and get under this little roadway here. We got one green done. It's the smaller green, so it was the easier green, but a good green to test on. It actually went pretty good, I have to say. I don't have any gravel here. That's coming later this week, so I'll leave the pipes open and exposed. But yeah, that's the smaller one. Now we gotta head down and do the bigger one. And now we'll do the same thing on this green. This is my high side and that is my low side over by the camera. So this will be a fairly straightforward one. We'll go from here and we'll run the main line right down the middle and then come off with laterals on both sides. I see some of the neighbors stop by in the last couple days. There's a deer track right there. A deer walks through, and right beside it is some fox tracks. This one should be pretty straightforward digging. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way to the bottom. Back for another night of digging. It's the middle of the week, so I only have the evenings to kind of work on this. So we'll do some more digging, see if we can get this knocked out this evening. Got the initial trenching done. It's really rocky. I remember how bad this was from the video where we roughed this in. Lots of rock everywhere. So this one's going to be a little bit more difficult, I think, to level and make sure my drop's pretty good. I'm going to grab a hand shovel now and just play around, kind of go through there by eye, make it look good, and then grab the transit and make sure it actually does flow water down here. I'm just going to bring it out through here and then into a low spot here in the trees. There's some low area in there. We can just dump the pipe. It's been a very rainy year, which has actually been good because I can get a good reading on my slope and my fall, especially with this drainage. We had a lot of rain here today, and I take it all back. This drainage is important and it is necessary because it's moving water. This is pretty cool to see without any gravel on it. All the pipes exposed, and I can see that it's moving water really well. So there we go. Drainage, it is important. I'm really glad I did this now. Here's the larger green, and it's a much heavier soil here, so I'm very glad I did drainage here. I don't have the pipe in yet, but our trenching shows us that we got pretty good flow. I have a couple low spots over there to fix, and it is all going out here, and there is a pool down there as it's really pouring down that hill. Pretty cool to see. Glad I got to see this before I put the pipe in. The nice thing about that heavy rain yesterday is it gave me a chance to check these trenches. I was pretty good by eye. I had a couple low spots that I filled in. I could see the puddles, so that was great. I've just checked them all again, and it seems like we've got good drop. Everything is heading that way. I think it's time to put some pipe down. There. I will say these fittings work great. Super easy. Fit in there nice and tight. So I'm breaking a drainage rule. You would normally put gravel under this pipe, and you might have watched me do the first green and yelled at me for that. There's kind of a reason I'm doing that. I'm in trouble here because I have to spread gravel with my skid steer, and I have wheels, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to crush this pipe. So if I put gravel under here, I'd bring it up even higher. And I'm trying to get as much gravel over this pipe as I can. For me, I'm thinking the water will run down through the root zone mix into the gravel around the pipe, stop basically once the ground's saturated, and then drain out the pipe. So I'm hoping this dirt doesn't end up in the pipe somehow because I'm not putting gravel underneath this pipe. I don't think it will, but down the road in a few years, this maybe will be a total disaster by not putting gravel under here. But my thinking was just to keep this pipe as deep into the ground as possible. I really didn't want to trench much deeper. I'd need so many more loads of gravel. I'm trying to keep this as strong as I can. If I pack gravel around it, will I be able to drive across it with my skid steer? We'll see. I might have to put plywood or something down. It could be a real disaster trying to spread gravel over this drainage system and not crush it. I wish I had tracks on my Bobcat, but I don't. That's my thinking, keeping this pipe down as solid as I can, as low as I can. Hopefully getting enough material over top where I can maybe pack that gravel and then drive over it. It's going to be dangerous. Back for another day. Hopefully it doesn't rain. I want to get these lateral lines now tied into the main line. The main line's going straight across the green, and now we have to get these side lateral lines all branching across here to pick up the water from the outside area of the green. Here we go. Hopefully I have enough pipe. All right, do I have enough pipe? I'm not buying another roll of pipe, so we're gonna make this work somehow. There's lots there, I think. Going right here. Probably regret it. I was kind of dreading this drainage process, but I gotta say, with these fittings, working with the pipe, it actually hasn't been that bad. I thought I had a lot of pipe left over, and I have maybe 6 feet, so super lucky on that one. I'll take it. When we finished the first green, I thought I had a lot of pipe left, so I think that's probably going to be a theme here. I'm going to need more material, probably more costs than I was anticipating. I'm just surprised we went through that much drainage pipe. That actually looks semi-professional. Like, I kind of knew what I was doing. I pretty much just made it up. We've got a little bit of fall here. We've got the slope we need. So that should take water out of here. It'll be really interesting to see this in action if we do get a hard rain. Before we get to the gravel layer, I do have to clean this up a little bit. That far green, the smaller green, is in much better shape. That was fairly clean soil. So that one is pretty much ready to work on and start filling in the trenches with gravel. This one, however, we've got a mess here. I've got to get rid of some of this dirt, and there's a lot of rock here. Getting rid of all this rock. I am so open here. I think I'm going to have a major problem spreading that gravel. I'm pretty confident we'll figure out a way to get across that. If I have to use the small tractor, I do have a small tractor. It doesn't hold as much material. It's going to take a little longer, but it's much lighter. So we'll get across this pipe somehow. But for now, we've got a drainage system on 2 golf greens here in a backyard golf course. They look pretty darn good, so I'm gonna celebrate that step. It's complete, and we'll get ready for that gravel layer next.